Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Absolutely, I can tell you about myself. Currently, I'm a sophomore at the Fox School of Business at Temple University. Here I'm majoring in international business. And one of the big reasons I picked international business as my major is just because I love to travel. Ever since I was little, I traveled to Canada with my parents. And back in high school, I traveled over to Paris and different places throughout Spain and Italy, and just experiencing these different cultures and the different sights to see, languages, food, and everything was just so amazing that it was just something I knew I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I figured in our emerging global economy, one of the complexities in becoming successful is understanding these different cultures. And if you're able to understand these cultures, you're going to be able to become more successful. For instance, trading between the United States and London. People in London are going to have different cultural expectations and norms that you have to follow in the business setting, as opposed to, say, I'm trading between the United States and China. People in China are going to have different cultural expectations than people in England. And understanding these cultural expectations is really what can set you apart in a business setting. A little bit else about myself. I'm presently employed at Republic Bank as their night and weekend supervisor. I was recently promoted. And I was hired back in November of 2011 as a simple bank teller, and since then, I've risen up in the company. I went from a simple bank teller to a bank teller and customer service representative, and now I've become a night and weekend supervisor where I supervise the whole branch when my manager and my assistant manager are present. Really, for the future, looking ahead, I just want to travel, get out there and experience these different cultures, and I believe by doing so, it'll really help me in a business setting and in our global economy. Next spring, I'm actually studying abroad in Rome. Temple University has their own campus there. I'm going to be studying abroad there, and over there, I really want to analyze the differences between the European Union and our American economy. And I just find it so interesting and intriguing, the differences between the two. So, that's a little bit about myself. Can you tell us about one of your greatest life accomplishments? Well, that's actually a pretty easy question for me. Back in high school, I actually started a lawn service business, a landscaping business back at home where, just for extra money during the summer, I had a summer job, but I would like an extra money to go to the movies and go out to eat with friends and stuff like that. So I just started mowing lawns around my house, and I ended up with 4 houses by the end of the first summer. Then the next summer, I thought maybe if I really get out there and really, talk to more people, I might be able to expand so I won't have to get a summer job. Lawn cutting will be the only thing I have to do this summer. So I went out and I talked to more people. I ended up with 12 lawns that summer. Now, although this wasn't enough to sustain myself, I still had to get a summer job. I realized, if I put in more work, I might be able to go further. Maybe if I brand better, talk to more people, talk to people I don't even know, I might be able to succeed. So the following summer, last summer, I went out and I talked to people I didn't know. I went door to door to houses of people I've never met. I put flyers all over the township. And by the end of last summer, I ended up with 26 lawns. And this was huge. 26 lawns a week was a lot of work. So I was working close to a full-time job. I didn't need a job last summer. I was employing myself. And that's just something that's really rewarding, being able to put in the hard work and the dedication into your own company. It just is so much more rewarding because that the effort you're putting into it is going to benefit yourself. And just that is much more motivating. This summer I've already gone out, I've talked to people. So far I have 24 lawns signed on. It's not as much last year, but it's only April. I'm actually talking to one of the local baseball fields about possibly putting in a bid to do their baseball field weekly. So, just watching this company expand is just such a really something I really hold dear because it's all my work. It's my motivation, it's my dedication, and the hard work that I put in, I'm reaping the rewards. So that's one of my greatest achievements. Tell us a little bit about what you have learned in class. Well, recently, while online on the Wall Street Journal, I actually watched this video that was talking about could Apple become the first $1 trillion company? Could their market share reach $1,000? It's something unheard of. It would be the world's first $1 trillion company. And while I was thinking about it, watching the video, I thought one of the main aspects why Apple has been so successful is their culture. They have this innovative, market culture that they've created. And what they do is they're just so good at becoming, better and faster. Look at where they were 10 years ago. They were nowhere even near possibly becoming, this big of a company. I mean, if you look at their market cap today, it's roughly, I believe it's around $650 billion. That's more than double what Microsoft was, and Microsoft used to be the personal computer. So what Apple has done is they've redesigned their whole idea and have become the driving force of the technology industry today. They've also created this brand loyalty that exists with customers. I mean, personally, I bought my first iPod Nano, and then after my Nano, I bought my iPod Touch. Now I have an iPhone, and this summer I actually plan on getting an iPad. And just because I know how well the company is and how great the products are, it has created a great brand awareness with myself, not only with myself, but other people that I know. And they keep going back to Apple. So could Apple become the first trillion-dollar company? I mean, I personally think they could, especially with this bull market they've been having recently. They've jumped an extreme amount in the past couple of years. Their stock price has soared through the roof, and who knows what the limit is going to be for it. There's some worry that maybe it'll get too high, people will stop investing, but I really don't see that as a problem. People are just going to assume it's just going to keep going higher, as well as I do. And I look all the way back to the culture that Steve Jobs instilled in the company, this culture of innovation, and how important that is. How important it is to have this flat hierarchy that somebody all the way down the store level, if they have this great idea, they can relay it up, and possibly it might become part of the design for the next product. This flat culture and this innovative, creative place, this creative company, encourages flexibility, and they have an external focus. This is a market culture, and just that's something I've learned in class that I didn't know 5 months ago or 3 months ago, whenever the class started. This is really important, and I think that Apple could become the first trillion-dollar company in history.